Hi friends, welcome to today's story time. Today's story time is going to be all about snow. And I love this time of year because I love the snow. It's so beautiful and so fun to play with. So we're going to be reading a story today, and then we're going to be making a little project with snow paint. So it's going to be really, really fun. So we're going to go ahead and get started with a book, my favorite, one of my favorites. It's a classic story called The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. This is the story of a little boy who spends his day playing in the snow. Let's go ahead and get started. The Snowy Day. One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and ran outside. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out like this. He walked with his toes pointing in like that. Have you ever made footprint tracks in the snow? I love that. That's fun. And sometimes you can actually see animal tracks from where little birds or little cats or little dogs have left their footprints in the snow too. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks. And he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. It was a stick. A stick that was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. Down fell the snow, plop, on top of Peter's head. And there he goes walking, making more footprints in the snow. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight, but he knew he wasn't old enough. Not yet. So he made a smiling snowman, and he made angels. He pretended he was a mountain climber. He climbed up a great, big, tall, heaping mountain of snow and slid all the way down. That would be fun. He picked up a handful of snow and another and yet another. He packed it round and firm and put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. Now, what do you think could happen when you take a snowball into your nice warm house? He told his mother all about his adventures while she took off his wet socks. And he thought and thought and thought about them. Before he got into bed, he looked in his pocket. His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. He felt very sad. What do you think happened to his snowball in his pocket? I think it melted. While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted all the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone. The snow was still everywhere, and new snow was falling. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow. The end. And I think he had a wonderful time playing again in the deep snow. Did you ever play in the snow like Peter did? Yeah, it's a fun thing to do. Okay, so let's get going with our snow paint. To make our beautiful snowy picture, what you'll need is just some regular white glue and some shaving cream and a dark piece of paper. You could use a blue color. I'm using black or purple, just as long as it's kind of a dark piece of paper, that will be great. And then I went ahead, because this is going to be involving our character Peter, and I cut out a small red cutout shape of Peter. So there's his head and his red snowsuit, and that was really fun. I put little eyes on him, and we'll add that at the end. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with our snow paint. What you'll do is you're going to mix together about equal parts of white glue and shaving cream, and you won't need much of this. I've got maybe a teaspoon or two here of the white glue. And now I'm going to have the fun part of adding some shaving cream right there into our bowl. And I'm going to mix these two together. And I feel like maybe I added too much shaving cream, so I'm going to add a little bit more glue to that mixture. Oh, it smells so good. And I'm just going to stir that around with a paintbrush just like this. Now, if you wanted, you could even add a little glitter to this and just kind of mix it around. Okay, so what we're going to do is create on our paper a snowy scene, much like the pictures that were in the book that we just read. So I'm going to start putting some snow on the ground here with my paintbrush. And I'm just kind of tapping it and brushing it all along here to make a snowy ground. Oh, this is so fun to paint with, and you can make it nice and thick. Don't worry about that. You could make it kind of blobby if you want. That's the word I use for that. There we go. Looks like some snow. And I remember in the story that Peter was playing on a mountain of snow. So I'm going to make kind of a big hill here. Remember when Peter went walking up one side, and then he climbed to the top, and then he slid all the way to the bottom. There we go. So there's some hills, and there's our snow, and it's beautiful. And then I also have a Q-tip here. I'm going to kind of dip the Q-tip into the paint, and I'm going to just kind of tap it onto the paper all around so that it looks like snowflakes. I'll lift this paper up here in a minute so you can see a little better what I'm doing. But I'm just kind of tapping it all around to make like the snow is falling from the sky. Now I'm rushing a little bit. I want you to take your time with this, have fun with it, no rush. Painting is such a fun thing to do. You should not feel like you have to get it finished in 2 seconds. Take your time and have fun and make some little snowflakes in there. And your picture might look a little something like this. Snow at the bottom, maybe a snowy hill or a mountain, and snow falling from the sky. You'll want to let your painting dry overnight so that this snow paint can harden and dry. And then the next day, you can take your little cutout figure of Peter. Remember the boy from the story? There's Peter. And you can have him play in the snow and climb up the mountain or slide down the mountain. Or if you like, you can put some glue on the back and stick him right there in the middle of the snowy scene. So there's Peter, and he's playing in the snow. And remember the story we read, the snowy day? So I want you guys to have a great time playing in the snow, getting some fresh air and some exercise. And hopefully before too long, we'll have a good amount of snow on the ground for you to play in. So have fun with your project today. And thanks you guys so much for joining me. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.